This is the Punch Clasico Perfecto. It's a 60, which is the biggest part here on the ring gauge, 60 by 4.5. And this one has a double binder, which is Connecticut broadleaf and Ecuadorian Sumatra. And then it has a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. And then the fillers are going to be Dominican, Nicaraguan, and Honduran. So this has a bunch in it, on it, around it. And this was, it says made is part in Europe and part in Nicaragua. So I have no clue what that means, but I have smoked the regular Punch Clasico in pretty much all the different vitolas other than the cigarillo. And I'm gonna try this Perfecto. Let's see what it does. Toast in the foot, the aroma is pretty stout, but good. Dark flavors, wood, and dark tobacco. Let's get it fully lit, and I'll come back. Always enjoy some, like if you have torpedoes, figurados, perfectos. It's always interesting because you get much different flavors than you would get from, let's say, the Corona, double Corona, or then even if you switch from there to a Toro. Very interesting. That, but it makes sense, right? You have a different mixture of leaves, and very, very good draw on this. You know, it's one of those lines that are very cost effective, have been around for a long, long time, and they make budget sticks. Actually really enjoy the Gran Puro out of or from Punch. That's a very, very good stick in my opinion, that I enjoy. And let's get further into this. Even though you have a combination of very dark leaves, as I always say, you know, people think the darker the cigar, the crazier and stronger it is, and that's just not simply the case. Here, for example, you have light pepper. It's maybe a 2 out of 10. You do have good robust flavors, but they're mild, and the body so far is actually mild to medium. So not what you would expect when you read the construction and when you know, look at the cigar itself. But let's keep going on this little fatty, and let's do the verdict. Great construction. Perfecto, just like Figurado or Solomon, they're not easy to roll because you have small part here, big part here. How much leaf do we put in there so it's not too little here and too much here, or too little here and too much here? So you're gonna get a clugged up cigar if you don't know how to roll this. So there's not many people that can roll this. So there's tons of people that can roll a Toro, but then you don't have many people that can roll a Figurado. So construction is excellent, perfect. Not perfect draw, it's a tiny little bit tight, but it's an excellent draw. Let's put it that way. And then beautiful leaf, beautiful wrapper, good presentation. There's a little bit of a, you can't barely see this, but there's a little bit of a vein that goes straight into the towards the cap. The band, well, it's a Punch band. You know, if you have seen one, you have seen pretty much all of them. And when it comes to flavors, I'm gonna get in there a little bit more. The light up was very, very mild. A little bit of oak, a little bit of a dark roast coffee, black coffee. The smoke is a little airy, but has become a little bit more creamier. And as you move into the wider side, it also has become a little bit stronger. So of course, I think it's going to be more ligero in the center, meaning also a little bit stronger tobacco. So let's go a little bit further, maybe towards the bend, and see if there's another change. Flavor is very linear at this point in time, other than the strength of the body that has changed. So it's not a bad stick, but it's very, you know, it's a cigar, so nothing fancy, nothing super exciting, but good. As the shorty has warmed up a little bit more, it started to clog up a tiny bit. So what I do is I very gently roll the part, and I can feel that there's pretty much like a knot in there. That's just because it warms up. Some of the moisture goes towards the back and collects, obviously, your saliva at the end. All of this usually, and that's a normal thing on these perfectos and torpedoes and salmons, and it happens a lot. And usually when you give it a light little massage, it opens back up, and that's exactly what happened here. Just a tiny little hitch, right? But if you don't know, then of course you're gonna try to suck a rock through a straw, and might not enjoy this and toss it away. So just a little massage. Be very careful on this one. Obviously, broadleaf wrapper and Sumatran wrapper, it's going to be a little bit easier. Connecticut is going to be a little bit tougher. Softer leaf, thinner leaf. If you do it wrong, you crack the wrapper. On this one, easy peasy. Also, as I go further in here, the oakiness has picked up a little bit, and has put the sweetness from the Sumatran wrapper or the double wrapper a little bit in the background. So now it's a little bit stronger. It's getting stronger as I literally every puff gets a little bit stronger, and then also the spiciness from or if you do retro, has become, you know, gone up from a 2 to a 4. So this is becoming a stronger stick, and definitely something that I can feel now in my stomach. I haven't had much to eat today, so I'm actually feeling this little guy, a little feisty fella. Another thing that I catch myself doing on these little, I can think of Arturo Fuente, the Hemingway short story. Since you have that little, almost like lancero head, you tend to smoke, or for me, I can't speak for others, but for me, it's almost like you're smoking a lancero, and a lancero smokes pretty quick because it's so tiny. So you tend to, or I tend to, I'm speaking always again, I tend to try to smoke this pretty quick. And of course you get a 60 ring gauge size right now at this point in time, and you don't want to do that. It gets bitter, and then you won't enjoy it. So slow down. That's everything cigars. Slow down. Very important. My fancy pairing for this afternoon is a Coke Zero, which actually goes pretty well with this guy. There's something about the Connecticut and Sumatra that is enhanced by this cola flavor in the backside. That's a little bit of the sweetness to it that kind of went away after the first 2 or 3 minutes, and it became a very stout little guy. And the Coke Zero actually works pretty well. So I assume a coffee with cream would actually go really well with this, or possibly a rum and Coke, a cocktail. Interesting. Just my thoughts. Possibly a Cuba Libre with a Havana Club 7 years, because the lime would break into the bitterness of the oak. So a little bit of a wonky burn, but razor sharp. very nice white ash. Good so far. I mean, or okay, I would say. Now I had to give it another little massage down here. It's a little plucked again, but just a couple of rolls and it's back to a good draw. Let's see if this self-corrects, which is already starting to. So see what happens. This diary record is going over the time that I actually really plan on doing. I expected to not make any of these record keeping bits more than like 3 minutes. I'm trying to top it off at 3 minutes, but since this is a very distinctive vitola, and this is a first for me on this particular stick. Going a little bit deeper into the details. So if this does not correct, I'm gonna correct it myself. And this could, of course, be due to the double wrapper. So you have the Connecticut broadleaf and then the Sumatran, Ecuadorian Sumatran wrapper below, and you can actually see, not sure in the video, but you can see, whoa, almost. You can see right in there the 2 layers and it's splitting off. So there was possibly a little air pocket in there between the 2 binders, and that's what caused it. So not really a biggie, but if it gets too big, it can affect and will affect your flavors. Now it's getting mellow again, like I thought. So slimmer side, light, robust flavors, but light. You get into the bigger part, it gets stout, and now it's getting light again. So I'm thinking as you take the band off and go into the last third, it's going to be a very, very smooth, very leveled stick. Probably a good little stick after you had a big dinner and you just want a quick smoke. This is probably a 45-minute smoke if you drag it. If you smoke fast like I do, usually probably 30-35 minutes. Yeah, I mean, flavors, it's a very, very simple steak. I get a little oakiness, a little dark black coffee, black roast or espresso roast, and then the Sumatra just peeks through very, very far away and gives you a little sweetness. I don't get any of the Dominican flavors, and then you have a tight bit cap at the end of the Nicaraguan. So overall, I would say for me this is like if I would rate stuff, probably a 5 or 6 out of 10, just because my flavor, my palate. Would I buy this stick, this vitola again? No. There is short smokes, other short smokes that I love for the winter time. So the Papas Fritas, which is an excellent stick I love. There's other ones that I enjoy more. But it was a fun stick. So that's what it comes down to. Everybody's always, ooh, you gotta go with fancy stuff. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. And it's like, no, I just wanna try different things and have a little fun and mess around with the vitola and the bands, and it's a whole spill of this. So good construction, punch, good job. You know, just a very, very rudimentary and very basic smoke. Nothing that blows your mind, but it has its place. So you might want to try it, might play around with it. I have, and I'm glad I did. I think I have a couple of these flying around somewhere. Not sure at this point in time. I've got so many cigars. Not sure if I should do a humidor tour. It would probably take me a day or so to go through everything, but maybe a flyover. I could go and do a little flyover and just kind of like go into some of the basics. Yeah, that is that. Enjoy.